The button has been pushed. Let's see who we got. All right, come on in. Nope, no one just yet. Let me go. I'm going to open up the LNL. What's up, Justin? How's it going, Mantle? Welcome, everybody, to today's Lunch and Learn. I'll be your host, Jared. I'm on the support team. I'm not on the support team. I don't know what team I'm on, okay? I've been on a lot. I'm on the training team, and I'll be your host for today's Lunch and Learn. Obviously, as you can tell, my coffee has not kicked in yet, so my mental clarity is a little low, but it will hopefully improve during the course of this Lunch and Learn. Alrighty. Before I go into open questions, I do have one submitted question. So let me grab it. It's in this channel, haha, right here. And this one's from Justin. All right, question is, the question is, I have a report that I want the end user to be able to select a handful of items and print them out utilizing the built-in feature. However, this does not seem to be possible. What is the called alternative to this? Yes, I think I might have an alternative, but I'm going to allow you to talk, Justin. If you can give me more context.
Yeah, so I've built a system so that some people in the organization can look at work orders. They want to be able to print out they want to look at the report and be able to print out just that month's work orders at the end. However, I want the list to still give all of the work orders so they can still look at all of them, even though they only want to print out that month.
Okay. I see. All right. Well, here's what I'm thinking. This may work. Let's go into. So what I'm thinking is I created a simple entity. I did some of this legwork before we got on, so I don't have to waste time building it. All right. So I got a dashboard. I don't have a dashboard. Just kidding. Test page. Perfect. I think here's my dashboard. Okay, cool. I got some data. So what I was thinking we can do is we can utilize the multi-select feature and create a new user action for it. So in the configuration folder, you can make actions for single records or multiple records. So I don't know what data structure you're using, but if you're using one that has a configuration folder, we can create an additional group user action, and we can say this is like download. This is, let's say this is, was it print out stuff, right? That's what we'll call it. And I believe what we can do is we can create another form. Let me create a form real quick. This is going to be display data form with an advanced ADG, advanced data grid. And we can say advanced data grid. Drag on that over. This thing is basically a data grid on a form that allows us to display like a view, a report view on the report. And I think I'm not sure which one we need to set. So we're just gonna kind of fly this plane as we build it. There's gonna be input data. I'll set this as, I'll put all shore. I'm gonna add a button. Then what I'm gonna do is the type is gonna be my specific entity, if I can find it. LNL entity, perfect. Awesome. And then, output data is gonna be output data. Close and save this. Then we can take this, and then I can pass this in here. And I believe this control gives us a download, a way we can download. I'm not sure. So let's test this out. So I'm gonna close, save this. I'm just gonna open up another browser and go to that dashboard, and let's try it. So I should be able to, let's say I wanna grab only these 2 records, and I want to print out stuff. Oops, silly me, I didn't pass in the data. I always forget to do that. Select from flow. Oh, wait, did I grab it? I think I grabbed it. Select from flow, entities, perfect. All right, cool. And this is for correct information. Let me just select all of them. Print out data. Why is it not displaying my data? It's all selected. Print out stuff. I wonder. I don't know if that's a bug or not, because that should display my data. Theoretically, what should happen is my data should come through and then display here. And then what I can do is I think there's like a download on that advanced data grid. Let me do it with, I want to do it with one user action. We'll say this is a test printout stuff. Single action. Create. We'll do that show form. Put that over here. And then I'm going to pick existing. Sure, we'll display this. And then I'm going to build the array, pass in the first item, entity, perfect, save. And then this should display. Go back to my dashboard. Let's do print out stuff. Oh, print out single stuff. And it does not display. What is going on? Let me show a different way. So that's weird. I'm going to test that further. That might be a weird interaction. Show form. We're going to pick that same form that I have. I'm going to fetch entities. Put the results in here. ONL. Select from flow. Any results. All right, now this has to have information. I don't think I passed it in there. I did pass it in. All right. This is interesting. So if I pass it in there, I think I just found a bug because it's just not displaying my data at all. So I'm going to do this with a different data type, and theoretically the process should still be the same. So let me just use the account. Or I wonder if it's just info mode. Let me just do this. Oh, don't save. I wonder if maybe it's just that mode's messed up. Let me try one more thing. Oh, you know what? I know why. It's not a bug. It's been a long time since I've interacted with the stuff. So the reason why it's messing up is because on the form, whenever you use an advanced data grid, you have to always remember to configure the source. Once you configure the source, then boom, boom, then it will display data. I forgot that. And go back here. And let's just grab all of them. Boom, there's the data. And I think there is, oh, there's no action. I thought there was to print out. Okay, so that's not how we could do it. Or the workaround. Hold on a second, I have one more way. And if it doesn't work this time, what I'll do is I'll take it offline and build something for you and I'll send it to you. In preparation of that, could you put your email in the chat so I can make sure that I have it?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. Yeah, one way you could do it, which this would be kind of so it is the goal is to send it up as like they want to send it to a printer, not just
They want to print it as an Excel sheet.
oh, print it as an Excel sheet. Okay.
So similar to how you can right click, yeah, and print like
Yeah.
that. However, it doesn't let me do it just the selected ones. It does everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I don't think this one has that action there either for that one. I wonder if I change the last thing I'm going to do. If it's got to be an Excel sheet, you can create a flow that generates that. And it can download that. But yeah, I'll take it offline and do that. I just want to check one simple. Okay, print out. Let me go into change that form that I created. Mess with this. This is info mode only. Let's do multi-select, show actions maybe, but I feel like it's just going to show the same actions that I already have. Print out, dashboard. So I have my dashboard, print out stuff, actions. Okay, now, so yeah, you can select multi. Okay, cool. Yeah, let me take it offline. I'll build something because essentially I'll talk about what I would build. So essentially what you have to do if they want it as a spreadsheet, and I'll actually just show some of the steps that you could use. So if you want to like kind of try to experiment on your own as I build that example, is you can like fetch entities and like create an action that will say, hey, grab both the selected ones. So you'd still utilize that group action. But then what you can do is you can use something called like a for each Excel or something. Let's see, like you can for each, which would loop through the specific entities that you have. And there's a couple of Excel steps that you can utilize. Um, let me show you those. Where you can then say, let me go ahead and not add footers, import result, Excel file, convert, print Excel. That's not the one I was looking for. There was like this add rows. Man, I'm just stumbling today. I thought there was Excel CSV. Create CSV, delete row, get row. I thought there was an add row, add worksheet, add headers, set row, set value in CSV row. Yeah, so you can utilize some of these steps. That's what I'm going to do is I'm going to test it and send you a mini project of this. But you can go through and you can set those values in a spreadsheet, and then it will just loop it. And then you can say, here, download your spreadsheet of that section of data for it. So that's kind of the theory behind it. But I'll send you an export of this project once I create it, so you can see how I got it to work.
Sounds good.
Awesome. All right, so that's that one. Let's go on to the next one. Elizabeth. I need some help on how to use the run report. Ideally, I want a user to fill out a form that identifies date and client parameters, then display all queried into a report that the user can view, then export. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. See, where is Elizabeth? I've given you ability to talk. If you could elaborate on that. Are you getting, where are you getting the data? Is the user just generating it and you want them to be navigated to another location to view the data, or?
They would be getting the data would be coming in from like a SQL database. And so the
Okay.
idea is that they're kind of, we're pulling in the data. I mean, it's coming from a SQL database, but the user gets to identify, okay, well, I just want to see ABC client and I want to see for the
Mm-hmm.
month of April on that data. I don't want to pull
Mm-hmm.
in because we have thousands and thousands of rows of data in that SQL database.
Mm-hmm.
Just the part like where the user is able to fill in the parameters and then run a report. That's really the two steps I was looking to understand a little bit more.
Sure, sure.
Not
So there,
necessarily the SQL database. We've got, you know.
yeah. No, I got you. So yeah, so there's a couple things we could do there. So one of the main things is in reports, you can specify user configured filters, right? So it may not be exactly this one, but I can say, hey, I want to utilize, let me grab like a field filter and say field filters. Let's do created. Let's just do the entity name and let's say contains, right? What you can do is on the right, whenever you select a folder, you have different general properties you can use. So you can say like, I want this one to be runtime editable. And when you set a report to have a runtime editable field, that gives the user the power and the leverage to be able to filter the data the way they need. So if I go back to my dashboard and I have my entity contains, I can now reply, hey, data, right? And I can say, now I can see all the records that contain data. Or I can say two, and I can see all the records that contain, two, and then I can just download this specific report. In
Okay.
regard to the date, there is something called a date range filter, which this is really nice. So date range filter. Let me go ahead and eliminate this one. And this allows you to be able to, let me go ahead and add created on date for here. All right. I know I'm going to get to it, decisions. Give me a second. All right. So on this date range filter, I can pick the field that I want it to filter on. And then when you enable this, filter, users will have this more custom design filter to be able to say, I want something this week, quarterly, monthly, yearly, or you can even configure your own custom one. So that's the power of that one. So let's save that so you can see what that looks like here. And so we have over here on the top right, there is that default filter that people can use to, separate however they want to view their data.
Right. And as far as like having a kind of more custom front end like form that pops up where they're able to identify the client and the date, is that I get that this is like a super out of the box easy way to do it, and I like that. But just from kind of creating a more an application that we would hand off to a team to say, okay, go in here and we've got a nice UI. It feels more like a whole custom app there.
Yeah, we can definitely do that too.
Okay,
It's been a
cool.
while. I'm gonna try to build that for you real quick, just so you can see what would happen. Essentially, let me talk to you conceptually, and then
Okay.
I'll go into trying to do. It's been a while, but basically, what you would want to do is you can set up the ability to like sending a filter change data source
Okay.
for the fields you want to manipulate or filter by. So that's going to be something you would configure. So if I wanted to filter by the created on date and I want to say this is COD for created on date, now I can use this filter to filter things by. So here comes the other part. So how would we kind of configure that? So now that I have this, and all that does is if I save this and if I go into, yes, let's refresh my page, please refresh, right? Yes, refresh. Come on. And then you can see that now I have my ID of this, this date that I can then utilize to filter. So that's one way to do it. The other way is, right, you talked about using a form. We can use a form tile over here. And let me see, I'm gonna try to configure this. So let's do input. I need to pick one. Let me create a new form tile. This is gonna be my date, date filter or client date filter. We'll just call it filter form, right?
Okay.
Now let's say I want to grab, certain specific clients. So let's say I have a drop-down list, right? And this one, I have string, we'll say this is static, and I have data, data one, data two, if I can spell data, data two, and I'm going to leave this as selected data, right? Well, so that's what we'll call that. Because it's a form tile, I don't necessarily need a button. So I can leave this as, even though it's yelling at me, I can leave this without a button because I'm not going to use it for that. And then what happens is when you utilize this form tile, you'll see that you have this edit input flow for this specific property here. And so what this allows us to do is we can then edit this, and then we can configure certain filters to be applied to that page. So I
Okay.
can say, hey, probably what you'll be utilizing is I'll be utilizing the oh man, what's the step called? I think it's get page variable. Get page variable, and then you would select the variable that I've created on this dashboard, right? So if it's based on the created on date, it could be the created on date, or if I'm doing it by the entity name, in this case, in your circumstance, it'd be like customer name. Set it up there, and then you could say, hey, I want to get the page variable for customer name, right? Or I'm gonna say name, and then my accepted type is a string, and then you can go ahead and use that and pass that in, and then filter that information there with that. So that's the setup for it. Let me struggle around, try to build it so you can see its functionality. So if you
Cool.
get the page variable, yeah, and if it takes too long, don't worry. I can build this real quick offline, and I'll just email it to you if I can't figure it out.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's go. I'm gonna do it. Let's simplify it for me, and I'm gonna do this way. And we're gonna say I'm just gonna call this name. And perfect. So I'm sending the end as the filter change data source. Cool. There's also another one. So we can use it that way for the input. And because you get page variable from there. Or let's do it this way. So we could do it that way. Or let's do the flow run part. I have my flow run part right here. pick my flow. I'm just going to create a new flow. Filter flow with form. I'm going to show my form. Create a new form. Actually, I'm just going to use this filter form and I'm just going to add a button on it so that I can use it here. And we'll just say this is done. All right, cool. Select the data, and I think the input of this will need to be like name. It needs to match what my filter change data source is. All right, so then I say, I don't think it needs to go anywhere. It could just stay right here, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, and then I need to say set, yeah, here's another step. Set dashboard parameter. Set dashboard parameters for report. And this is a good one. And this one, we need to get the folder ID of the actual report. And the report parameter is going to be the name parameter because that's what I specified. So now I got name and folder ID. No, don't do it just yet. I don't have it all configured. Decisions. All right, boom. We're going to add this here. So this is a constant. You can create your own settings entities to where you have all your dashboards, so you don't need to always get the IDs. Select from flow, and it's going to be whatever the selected piece of data is. Yep, that makes sense. And I believe, I wonder if that's it. Hold on. The true test. Let's see. All right, so we got this. Let's see. Yes, it's ugly. Probably could format it better. Let me see if I can do this. Said done. Oh no, show details. Is it because it can't? Node. Oh, okay, never mind. I guess I gotta add it to. I gotta connect it to the end step. All right, and the name property is there. Okay, cool. And if I close and save this, sure. And then name, oh, I know what it is. Oops, I gotta change that because I think I have an ambiguous name. Reports, entity name, we'll just call this send filter change. Yeah, I think we got an EN is what we'll call it. So now I need to change everything so that it's not the same. Report page, which is over here. Test the page. We're gonna go to this flow. I need to change the dashboard parameters because now this is no longer name. This is actually EN. So I'm gonna pass that in. Select from flow to select data. And then we'll set that to whatever that is. I actually don't think I need this. So let me remove this. All right, cool. Now, here we go. Let's do this. I think I got it. We're gonna go to dashboard. And then if I select data 2 and we hit done. Okay, so it didn't so the selected one is data. Oh, I need a filter. That's why. Okay, let's do I am so blanking on this. I think let's remove the date range filter because I don't need that. I need a entity equals. That's what I need. Okay, that's what I'm doing because it's filtering. Entity name, and we're going to say equals, and we're going to say, let's just show all the data, even if it's empty. And then I'm actually going to set and rename this filter to EN, and we're going to say get values from other reports. I think that's what I missed. And so now, since I changed that, if I go back to my dashboard, boom, well, because nothing's selected, but if I select data 2, run this, data 2, data 1, run this, boom. So that's how, I think I have I have to troubleshoot with some refresh that I have on my server, but that's the concept. So I'll walk. Yeah, so I'll walk through that since now I figured it out. So what I forgot is I forgot that since you're talking about filtering, we'll have to make sure that you on your report that you rename the filter to whatever the send filter change data source is, right? So that will be the thing that you need to make sure that you remember. And then once you do that, then you can say, go into your flows, not flows, dashboard. We can go into Where I'm running, where am I going to? Oh, let me go to the page. Oh, I already have it open. Silly me. And then you can use a flow run part, or you can use a form tile. Flow run part, you'll use, you'll have whatever form or whatever design you want to use as a filter. Just make sure that you have the set dashboard parameters configured here.
Okay.
I'll show you. The other one is also with a form tile, and I actually just realized I actually already have. I can find it. There's this old dashboard that I built a while back that actually utilizes something like what you're talking about here. Trading metrics dashboard. Nope, it's not that one. Old dashboards. Trading metrics, trading resources. Trading metrics deprecated. Yeah, that is definitely deprecated. Because I want to show you this one, because this one will show you the other way to do it, which is the form tile approach. There's really no it's not a significant difference between the two. Some people like using the flow run part, others like utilizing the form tile. Let's say it's like student dashboard or something like that. Student. Hey, let's go to this one. Please. Yes! Haha. So over here, and obviously this one probably, don't worry, I know it's not on the screen yet. I'm moving it.
Okay.
So for example, I'm gonna move this over here. So this is an old dashboard we don't use anymore, but it has the same concept of the form tile. And I'll show you the back end of this so you can kind of see it. This is essentially just a form tile. And based on those radio buttons, since I wanted kind of like a neat design, if I click on the radio button, let's say I just want to see product training, boom, it filters out and I can see, all the metrics of people in product training. If I want to see people in finance and accounting, boom, I can see that, training, boom, all that stuff. And then I created a way where I could say I want to hit the show all, and that just shows all.
Okay.
So how that one was designed, let me go into folder view, change and hidden. I think it's hidden. And then we can go to the, student status page. And let me remove my goofy doodle. Drawings. And how this one was configured, I think it was configured very similarly to the flow run part. Basically, I had a tile form right here, right? No button on it because you don't need a button. And then what I did here is, I think I did, yep, there we go. So I utilized an active form flow. And inside those active form flows of the form tile,
Oh, yeah.
I set the dashboard parameters. So that's what it was. I just forgot where I placed that. So depending on how you do it, it's just kind of same steps. It's just if you use a form tile, you use active form flows with the set parameter dashboard report.
Mhm.
If you're using a flow run part, because it's already like page context aware, you don't necessarily have to, do an extra layer like you do with the form tile. So whichever way you want, but that's both ways to do it.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that was helpful.
Awesome.
We'll try both. I'm curious to kind of play with the form tiles a little bit, but the
Mhm.
flow run part probably is where I was at, basically. I just kept getting an error, and I believe my error has to do with the filter, not having the filter actually on the report.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, cool.
Alrighty. Oop, I think I missed Manel's question. All right, going on to Manel. Let's see. Question here is, I have built logic where if you select a specific state, then only specific state dropdown of countries shows up, and one select the county, then only a specific dropdown of cities show up. I've built a bunch of rules and match strings to create this logic in a workflow. I was wondering if there's any better way to build logic besides adding tons of rules to the string match step. So let me allow you to talk. So how I'm understanding this is if I go into, let's save, is that you have, let me see if this is right. Folder scaffolding, run flow, we'll say this is for Manel 3, 4, whatever number, generate my project folders. And we have a form. And let's see, so let's do dependency dropdowns. Dependency dropdown. We'll do a button. and we drop down list. And so your question is more of if I have these 3 different drop downs, that one's for state, city, or zip or whatever, or county. What's the better way for the logic on that one? Or did I misunderstand the question entirely?
Hey, Jared. Can you hear me
Hey,
okay?
yes, now I can hear you. Sorry.
Oh, you get so so my question was like, for example, I have a state. So for example, if you select Alabama, then the only counties in Alabama shows up. When you select that county, specific county in Alabama, then the only specific cities in that county shows up. And I have a
Mhm.
whole Excel of those. And I build the rules, but it's like I have like about 40 rules, which is kind of like tedious to do. So I was
Mhm.
wondering if there's any better way to kind of put that logic in. So if you select this one, only specific, it filters out to these certain states, these certain counties on basis of each.
Mhm.
It's like ABC, you know what I mean?
Yep. No, I know. Yeah, I know what you mean. So, like, this is. So let's talk about the data. So, how are you? Like, are you just statically defining this data, or like, how are you getting, like, that dependency of the data?
So right now I just have static fields, static drop downs, and I just put it all the counties, which kind of slows it down too. And that's
Sure.
why I was wondering like if there's any better way to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What I would do is, I wonder, isn't there? Let's do some googling together. Integration. We'll just talk. We'll use Alabama for a second. Integration to get all counties of Alabama. I can't spell open pro data count boundaries. Let's see, API to get US counties of Alabama. Look at that. It's the available state and county. Because what I would do, oh, this is stack trace. No, that's not what I want. Because what I would do, there we go. So what I would do, okay, cool. Oh, okay. Now we're cooking with gasoline. Okay, what I would do is we can utilize some APIs to get that information, and I would have those things fetch the data via an API. This way, let's say there's a new county in Alabama, or there's a less amount of counties in Alabama, right? You can get up all those zips and then tie it here. Now, you'll do need to be aware that when you utilize like APIs to get data, you do want to make sure that like on the steps of those kind of like API steps that you will create. Make sure, let's see, don't save this. We'll create another flow. I can't spell today. On many of the steps that run, especially, let me see if I can go to the integration. I'm just going to use a random rest step I have. Perfect, right here. Let's say I'm utilizing this. Imagine like this is your step to get all the cities and counties of Alabama, right? On the outcome path, you can say, hey, you want to cache the outcome data changes, global or per user. And what this does is it will reserve a part of the server memory just to cache that response from this API integration, and then it'll just output the data. So it's more efficient, and you don't have to worry about like having a lot of chatter slowing down a lot of your performance. So that's how I would do it. I would look for an integration to grab that data.
Gotcha. And correct me if I'm wrong, so Jared, I was also doing this one way where I have 3 Excels. I have
Mm-hmm.
cities, counties, and state. And what
Mm-hmm.
I did, I put it kind of in like a flow where I uploaded all the data into a data structure where I created a data structure, has the
Mm-hmm.
county, cities, 3 data structures. And then I was going to load those into decisions and get the data. But then I'm
Mm-hmm.
still having this. Would you recommend that? Because like with
You can do that as well.
integrations,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
I'm not really good with the API integrations a lot.
Sure,
I
sure.
try to do like some of them and they just did not end up really well.
Sure. So then in that regard, because I was going to say that's the other way you can do it. And then all it is just fetch entity steps, right? So then if you have all that data in a data structure, and let's say you've related to them by a primary key doing like database relationships, right? So let's say I have the United States table, right? And then I have the cities table, and then I have the counties table, right? In that realm, there'd be a foreign key tying the ID of the state, let's say the abbreviation of AL for Alabama, right? That when I use the fetch entities by the fetch criteria, it will filter out all of the cities that are not related to Alabama, and then you could populate the drop down that way. And then it's dynamic because if you, right, upload the CSV and it's got an extra field in it, then it will add there. So that would be the best way to do it, if that makes sense.
So this is where I was getting confused. So if I build a fetch entities, how would my flow know, like, for example, if you choose, for example, in United States, there's all the states. For example, if you choose Harris County, there's Kingwood as one of the city. Like, I'm struggling with that logic.
The logic of the state and the city to the county.
Yes. So for example, like if you do choose Harris County, then only the cities in the Harris County shows up. And that's
Right,
where
right.
I'm like doing the filter wrong, maybe.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think of a fast way I can do this, because what I would do is right how let's build let me try to build this out. I think I can kind of grasp what you're looking at. I'm gonna call this just state. Right, and then this one's gonna be we'll say this is county. And label county. I'll make sure I call this the county. On this one's gonna be county drop down. Then I'm just gonna set this up as static stuff. So perfect, I got static. So this is gonna be VA, AL, and Y, right? Let's say for the county, we'll also set this as static. Let's see, let me make this somewhat realistic. Counties of L. Hey, look at that. List of all the counties. Cool, cool, cool. No, that's not what I wanted. No, I accidentally deleted it. Counties, yeah, counties of AL. Perfect. I want to go. Yeah, there we go. Can I make this larger? Nope. I want to make this. Okay, cool, cool. So let's say, right, so this is of Alabama. So let's say I got a static. Let's say it's Jefferson. And we have Marion or Winston. Right. And then let's go to Jefferson. All right, we got for the city. Let me do another one. We got Birmingham. We'll say city, right? And so, right, so we got the counties. This would be data names. Actually, this one's gonna be a hard part because this has got to be data names because I got to fetch this information. So I got to store this. So basically, what I would do is you'd have some type of way. Yeah, I got it. To fetch this data, I'd have to put it in a database and then fetch entities, active filter flow, when that selection, I see, oh, then that active form flow will be triggered by the first dropdown, populate the second dropdown of the counties and the cities, or the counties at least. And then if that one has a value, then you would run the third one. I can do this. Let me take this one offline. It's gonna take me a little bit to build this one out. But I can build you something that will be like more, let me illustrate this. I don't think I can build it out that fast unless, do we have any other questions? I think you're the only one. You know what? You're the only one, Manel. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna build this, see if I can build this on the fly. Here's how I would do it. I would do it this way. Let's go ahead. And I will create a data type. I'm gonna create 3 database structures. This one's gonna be states. If I can spell states, this is gonna be state names. Right? Maybe you have some other things that can go in here. It might be more creative. Oh, darn it. Actually, no, that's fine. All right, cool. So I have states, right? Now I'm gonna create another one. I should have renamed this. Let me delete this thing. It's not named well. Delete the defined data structure. I know, I probably broke my instance. Database structure, US states, and then we'll do state names. Boom, just so it's not confused with like a status and what have you. Alrighty, so now we're gonna have this. I'm gonna create another database. And this one's gonna be called, what is that, county. And then I'm gonna have a state. tied to it. Oh, what is it? I think it's a state. Yep, it's gonna be a state. We'll say state ID, right? And then we'll have county name. Boom. Save this. And then we'll do create data types and integrations, create a third database structure. I'm gonna call this cities, US cities. And this one's gonna be county, county name or ID or whatever. And then we'll have city name. Actually, we'll just do county. However way you want to put it. So perfect. So now I have it all kind of related together. So now what I'm going to do is let me go ahead and let's create some data for all this stuff. I'm sure we'll use this flow. Oh, I already have access to it. This is great. So we're here. I'm going to delete this. I got to create some data so that this thing will kind of work. And we'll go through database structures. I have my US states, right? And so we're going to create some US states. So I'm going to build data. And we're going to say this is Virginia. Boom. So now we got Virginia. We're going to do the other state that I know because I kind of live there part-time, Florida. And then we'll do the other state, which the actual use case, Alabama. And restart it. Okay, cool. So now we got 3 US states. So now what we're going to do is, let's say, since I have to do Alabama, right? I'm just doing, this is setup you probably don't have to do because you've already done this. I have to do it because I have no data to deal with. So you can watch and see me sweat and try to build really fast, but this wouldn't be something you'd have to do. So let's say I want to get US states. I want to grab the state name and the state name of Alabama, right? And then what I'm going to do is, let's say I'm going to create a county. Use define types is now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a US city, create US and US county. So I got to create the county first and then the city. So result, I'm going to go here. We'll build data. We're going to say the county, the state ID. I'm going to say is any results first, state name. You could use the state ID. It doesn't really matter. And then the county name, I'm going to say it's Jeff. Yes, Jefferson. Jefferson is the county. And then what I'm going to do is for this one, the county is Jefferson. And then the city name in this case is going to be Birmingham. Birmingham. All right, so that's going to store that data that I have there. Perfect. I mean, I could do it by the entity ID. I'm just doing it by the names to make it easier for me. And so then what I can do is after I have that, let me make sure Alabama. I want to make sure that I debug this to make sure that I got it right. All right, video output data. Boom, I only got Alabama. That's awesome. So we know that we're good there. So after we add this, now what I'm going to do is we can create all this. So I have, perfect. So now I have the parent-child relationship, state ID, Jefferson County, and then in Jefferson County, we have at least Birmingham, right? You may have more, and you can just tie it by the county, Jefferson. So now that I got the setup, you can listen because this is relevant to what you got to do. So now if I go back into my forms, right? Let's say this is my test form flow. I'll also send you this project so you have it. Is we're going to show form. And then we're going to create a new form, this drop down thingy. And this is going to be US state. This is going to be US county. And then this is going to be US city. Shift enter. Boom. Now we got all the stuff. So we're going to say the type is recent and it should be US states. That's going to be the type for here. The display field is going to be the state name. We will have data source. The display names will be state name, and we'll say this is US states. And let me know if this is what you're talking about. If it's not anything related to what you're trying to do, then let me know. US county. Don't I have county, or did I just name it county? Yeah, county. All right, display field is gonna be county name. And then this is gonna be data name, and it's gonna be counties. And then we'll have the US cities, and this is US city. US cities, display field, city name, data name, US cities. Perfect. And then now we just configure the active form flows. I think it's gonna be, this is gonna be fetch US states to populate it. Then you fetch entities. This one's just gonna be US states. Boom, results, no results, we'll just go here. Output mapping, form data, US city, or it's US state, combo box, item source to there. Cool. And then we're just gonna say this is just gonna run at startup because we need that one. Then we're gonna add another active form flow that's gonna be fetch county based on state. I'm gonna do this by the US state selection change. We're gonna edit this, fetch entities, right? And then what we're gonna do is for our US counties, which is county, boom. Then we're gonna add a filter, which is gonna be the state ID. And then I'm gonna attach both of these over here. And then I'm gonna select from flow. We're gonna grab form data, and I'm gonna say I want the US state combo box, and I want the selected item, and specifically the state name. So that's gonna be the value. Then that's gonna filter out all that stuff. And then that one's gonna go to form data, US county box, and then item source on that one. And and that would select and change. Yep, perfect. And then we'll add a third one, which is gonna be fetch city by county, right? And then this one's gonna be on the county selection change. Well, we shall edit this. We shall fetch entities, and we're gonna fetch entities, and it's gonna be US cities. Nope, UST. There we go, US cities. Attach both the results over here. We're gonna add a fetch criteria. It's gonna be the county name. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna select from flow, form data, grab the US county selected item, county name, boom. And then on the output of this, we're gonna make sure that we output all of the US cities in the item source. Boom, awesome. So now we got 3 of those things. And now let's see the magic. Let's see if this works. So now if I debug this, what should happen is I should see my 3 states, Virginia, Florida, and Alabama. If I pick Alabama, we should see the county, Jefferson, appear. And then if I select this one, then I should see Birmingham. And if I select Virginia, all these should be, I should have nothing here. Oh no, what happened? Selection, did it not? No, oh, I didn't add a logical process that actually clears out that data. That's why. So if there's no results, I should say clear out, but that's what would happen for it. So did that answer your question? I don't know if that's close to what you're trying to do.
Yes, this helps a lot.
Okay, cool.
And if you
I'll-
can like send me the project, or I can just rewatch the video again too. Whichever works best for you.
I can send you the project right now. It's named for you. Export.
Thank you so much, Jared, again. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Could you put your email in the chat?
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
send it to you right now. Sweet. Project. Example export. And I think I already downloaded it. Let me see. Download. Boom. Awesome. It is sent to you.
I appreciate it again. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. All right. Any other questions? Whoops. As I just throw things on the ground around my desk. Here we go. Ah. All right. Okay, cool. All right. If there are no other questions, I'll go ahead and end this meeting so that we can get the video recording mixed. And Justin, be on the lookout for an email from me or from one of the trainers. We'll send you that example project of what that would look like. But all right. Thank you so much for attending. I'll see you guys next time. I think tomorrow is Josh Lax. He was actually my former mentor in Decision, so it'll be a real treat. So say hi to him, give him all of the challenging questions, and make it really difficult for him. So, all right, guys, you have a great day.
Thanks, Jared.